I can't do it. We'll do it. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Time to rise and grind.
Kidding me? Holy you smoke!
And let's get this banter going.
It's bacon!
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
And it begins now.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. Now get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
I think I just broke my chair. He did what? Has anybody ever told you you have a serious impulse control problem?
There is but one cause for me to follow. Almighty the bum!
And here we go.
Oh, yeah!
Williams right. They get motion to the left side by Jones, and now they flip it to Jones to the right side. Gets a block from Williams to the end zone for the touchdown. Second down to go at the one. Snap to Rodgers. Give to Jamal Williams. Pile drives end zone up the middle. Touchdown Green Bay. Now the Packers lead it 13-0. 1 yard.
Here's a 2-1. And Alvarez lifts it pretty deep to center field. Bliss is racing back, still going back, looking up. See you later!
Two receivers right, three left. Brady takes the snap, looks over the middle with a pump. Dances in the pocket. Now he starts to roll to his right. To the end zone for Edelman. Dives in. Touchdown, Patriots.
That's the way you move in the pocket.
Here's a gun right hand off to Tevin. Second level, 10, 5, dives into the end zone. Touchdown! Jet sweep motion to Sanders. Inside handoff, get level. Touchdown! San Francisco! Bunch formation right. Emmanuel Sanders, the point of the bench. Look at a screen to Tevin Coleman going left. Gets a block. Here he goes again in the end zone. Tevin Coleman. Touchdown! San Francisco!
What a weekend it was. Good morning. The Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning, and we are off and rolling. Video feeds going all over the place. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, although we got to make a change with the video feed. We don't have the powerful toy need yet, but y'all can help with that. I'll tell you how later on in the show. 30 minutes from now, I'll have the Gordon Gecko of fantasy football, as he calls himself, Nick Thorson, a good friend of mine. He'll be on this program. Cole Johnson will be on this program as well. Lots to get into from the weekend. And before I say any more, if you want to advertise with us, want to become a subscriber, drop an email. If you want to advertise with us, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. You can call the show and chat with us, 773-672-3208, and that too will go through a change at the top of the year. Stay with us. We got all kinds of stuff going on right now, and we want y'all to hang with us for the next couple of hours. As where do I start? You know, the World Series is almost over, if you can believe that. I'll explain why. The 49ers and the Patriots remain undefeated, and the Golden State Warriors are winless. But calm down, folks. They've only played 2 games. I think I'll save the NBA for tomorrow. Follow us on all of our streaming, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're live on iHeartRadio now, live on YouTube as well. If you look at Unfiltered, search Snowman Unfiltered on YouTube, and that's where you can find us. But, man, I think I know where I'm going to start. I had a couple of ideas in mind. I think I'm going to start with the World Series, which is now 3-2 in favor of the Houston Astros, if you can believe it. Now, the Astros led 3-2 last year before dropping games in Los Angeles and winning Game 7 in Los Angeles. Let me get you some highlights first, courtesy of KBME, Robert Ford, play-by-play announcer of the Astros. Yordan Alvarez inserted into the lineup. And happened.
Here's a 2-1. And Alvarez lifts it pretty deep to center field. Robles is racing back, still going back. Look up. See you later! A 2-run home run for Yordan Alvarez. And the Astros lead it 2-0. Alvarez's first home run of the postseason.
That's the start. That was the start of a home run derby, if you can call it, for the Astros. Correa wanted to get in on the fun.
Now delivers. And that ball's hit well. Left field, high and deep. That's a chance. Score! Carlos Correa with a 2-run shot gives the Astros the 4-0 lead.
Once made it 4-1, but then got that run back.
Hudson set at the belt, 2-2. And that's hit sharply up the middle. Pass of Turner and in the left center for Springer scores. Brantley to third. Gurriel aboard with an RBI single. Astros.
And George Springer decided to cap things off in the 9th inning.
Now the 3-1. And Springer hits it in the air deep to left field, and you can kiss it goodbye. A 2-run home run for George Springer and a 7-1 lead for the Astros.
And that was the finals.
Springer goes deep for the second time in this World Series.
Sorry about that, Robert Ford. 7-1 was the final, and the Astros down 2-0 in this series. Now lead it 3-2, going back to Texas tomorrow night. And Game 6 is indeed Tuesday night. You can watch it live on Fox, listen through your favorite app as well, including MLB.com, which is how I catch all the games. MLB.com on your computer or on the go. Robert Ford will be on the call for the Astros. Charlie Slows and Dave Jagler will try to summon a little magic for Games 6 and 7. Now remember, Astros led 3-2 going back to Game 6 in Los Angeles 2 years ago. They lost Game 6 but won Game 7 on the road. The Nationals will need to win twice on the road. But the advantage for the Nationals, they've done that already. And they've done it in Houston. Game 6, Tuesday night. The normal starter for the Astros was for the Nationals was supposed to be Max Scherzer. Unfortunately, and I feel for Max Scherzer so much, he couldn't go because of a real and literal pain in the neck. I know there are a lot of jokes about it, but when it gets so bad that he had to roll out of bed, pick himself up so he can get dressed and get going. The pregame news conference for the World Series, he had to turn his entire body to face the person that was asking him questions. I've dealt with pain like that, and it's intense, and it is not fun at all. It's not fun. So, Max Scherzer, I hope you get well. I don't know if he'll be well enough to pitch again in this World Series. It would have to come down to a 7th game, and it would have to come down to see how he would feel about pitching in the World Series. But how about those Houston Astros? Down 2-0, going on the road, playing in a raucous environment called Nationals Park. First time DC has hosted a World Series since 1933. And they not only win in Washington, they take all 3. So home field advantage has become a home field disadvantage. But now you have the Astros up 3-2 with a chance to clinch in front of the raucous home crowd. I say raucous a lot, but it's going to be nuts in Texas on Tuesday night. Chance for the Astros to clinch on Tuesday night in Houston. Game 6, Tuesday night. More notes about the World Series. Yordan Alvarez gets inserted into the starting lineup. hits a home run. Carlos Correa hits another home run. George Springer gets into the act. And it's something I've talked about with a few of my friends on their radio programs. I did Dorf on Sports this past Sunday, and Brett Boone was on with us. Thank you, Brett, for hopping on. He said something that is true, and it's probably good. The Houston Astros bats have woken up. They were silenced after they were drilled 12-3 in Texas by Washington. They go on the road and win. That is the toughest thing to do, especially in the midst of a 2-3-2 series. And I wish the NBA World Championship would go back to a 2-3-2. In the midst of a 2-3-2 series, when you're down 2-0 after losing the first two at home, it's so tough to go on the road to pick up a win, let alone 3 wins. I think I'm right when I say this. That would be the New York Yankees. Remember 1996? They were down 2-0 after Atlanta came in and beat them. And this is after Atlanta had an extended series. They go on the road to New York, the Braves do, win the first 2 games of the World Series. But then the last 3-4 belong to the New York Yankees. And one of them was an extra inning win. Jim Leyritz got the winning, being down 6-0. They tie the game 6-6 and then win it 8-6, courtesy of Jim Leyritz. And then the Yankees clinched in New York in Game 6. That's what's facing the Astros Tuesday night. A chance to clinch in Game 6, come all the way back, and win the World Championship. I said it would go 7 games. I might. If the bats continue to produce the way that they are producing and have been producing, man, we're going to be in for a great finish to the World Series. Game 6 Tuesday night in Houston. I think I'm going to get Nick Thorson on a segment early to talk a lot of football, and I do mean a lot of football. I want y'all to pay attention because Snowman in the Morning is looking for some advertisers, and we would love to have you as an advertiser with our program. Want to do that? Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. And I got someone who wants to hit the hotline right now. Good morning. Who is this?
Hey, big guy. It's Mark.
What's up, Mark? How are you, man?
How are you, man? I was catching your show this morning. I just, I'm sorry. I haven't watched. I had a chance to watch it too much, but I did this morning, and so I just wanted to chime in on what you're talking about.
Well, it's good to have you on. What's going on?
Thanks, brother. When you're talking about the Astros coming back and win 3 games, and you say how the NBA, you want the NBA to go back to that 2-3-2. I'm thinking about all the road teams that have won 3 road games in games 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the last team to be down 2-0 and win those 3 games were the Yankees. And it just got me thinking about that series and how great that series was.
Yeah.
From to Leyritz hitting a home run, and also Wallers to Andy Pettit and Smoltz in Game 5, which Smoltz said was the best game he ever pitched. The guy won 16 postseason games.
Yep.
In a game he lost. And it's funny because that series, you remember who got the MVP for the World 96?
John Wetland.
Yes, exactly. And Wetland, all he saved were like the Boston closer last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were line drives to the warning track, or it's like I know O'Neal racing and catching a ball to end the game. It's like almost every, including Game 6, which I believe they scored a run off him in the 9th inning, and then I think it was Pendleton was out.
Yes.
Popping up to Charlie Hayes.
Yes.
So it's to me, Nationals were hot, and it seemed like they were going to ride that wave, and then all of a sudden, they ran into a team that won 107 games, kind of woke up, and it reminds me a little bit of 1-2 at 86 when the Mets lost the first 2 games at home.
Right.
Doc Gooden got beat up in Game 2, and they lost like a 12-3, same type of score. And then they came back and won that series as well.
They sure did. And now the Astros have a chance to clinch at home. Be a proper introduction. This is Mark Kelly, a good friend of mine who comes onto the show and has his own show Tuesdays and Fridays on the Sports Radio. He's joining me this and a point I did mention, and you confirmed it for me. It was indeed the Yankees who lost the first 2 at home and then won the next 4. That's what the Astros have a chance to do Tuesday night.
Yep. And do you remember, in addition to the Mets and Yankees, who gave it home and win the World Series?
The only other team I remember to lose the first at home and win it all were the Mets in '86.
Yeah. They were the second team, though. The year before, the Royals lost.
The Royals, they sure did. Lost the first 2 to St. Louis, and I think the Royals were down 3-1 in that series. And then Kansas City came all the way back and won it. We all know Game 6 and also Game 7 when the Royals shut them out 11-0.
Yep. And that was a good World Series, though. You got Game 6, Charlie Leibrandt went against, I believe it was Danny Cox, I believe, pitched for St. Louis that game.
I want to say it was Bob Forsch who pitched that game. I want to say it was Bob Forsch who pitched that game and who pitched Game 6 because he gave way to Todd Worrell, and Todd Worrell surrendered the game in the 9th inning.
Yeah, I know it was Worrell with the Don Denkinger, the famous blown call. I mean, that Jorge Ortiz too. I mean, he got a totally nondescript career. He was the last person you would think would even be in a position to leg out a chopper to first base.
Yeah. He got some help in legging it out. I'll tell you that much.
He did, but you know what? I remember too about the series.
Mark, you still with me? Okay, there you are.
Yeah. Remember Vince Coleman got hurt in the NLCS?
Yes. I think he had
remember
the tarp hit him. The tarp got him.
The tarp rolled up on his ankle. It's like one of the weirdest injuries I ever saw.
Yeah.
And like Tito Landrum wound up playing for him, who actually got like a lot of big hits for them. And Cesar Cedeno, I believe, was on it.
Yeah,
too.
Cesar Cedeno had a lot of at-bats in that series, batting for Vince Coleman.
But what I remember about that 9th inning is that after Orta got on base, I believe it was Sundberg, then Jim Sundberg walked, and then they wore out to a wild pitch to put the runners in position to intentionally walk. I think it was Frank McCray. They intentionally walked, and then Dane Orge got the base hit to win. And it's like the memory of Jim Sundberg's slide, alluding to Darryl Porter.
Yeah. Darryl Porter.
So that was an underrated World Series too. The I-85.
Yep. Darryl Porter. There's a catcher for you. He was the MVP in '82.
Yeah, that's right. The late Darryl Porter. He died about 20 years ago too. How about the 49ers yesterday, huh?
Man, you talk about someone that was over the top happy. I said during my preview Friday, and I also did one Sunday, that it would be a tough matchup for the 49ers considering Carolina's coming off of a bye week and had an extra week to prepare, but it looked like San Francisco came off of a bye week. Wow, they put it.
I know. And, it just makes me kind of sick because you see all these teams that are bad and good, but they get good, right? The one team I'm still waiting to get good is not getting good. They're getting worse.
Do I need to ask who that team is?
Yesterday's game was a continuation into the abyss. Yeah. I wrote I don't know the show, but I wrote an article on how bad things were, and I told you that was going to happen on Monday night when you had the show last week.
You did.
But I wrote an article on how they look like clowns, and how the organization really, for the last century has been wasting our time, and they've been a total inept organization. So I had one of the people in one of the Jet groups said I usually don't read comments that people articles, but he wrote, your article is crap and you're full of you know what, and, so I wrote him back and I said, well, if that's the way you feel, then I want to invite you on to my show tomorrow, and we'll talk about why you think that.
Right.
So he came on, and it was about a 20-minute conversation. You got to listen to it, and essentially it went into everything that they failed to do, and all the going back to Leon Hess and going back to all the bad draft picks. The Jets are the only team since the merger. I think them and the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans are the only two teams that have not hosted an AFC championship game since the merger.
Wow.
Okay, a championship game of any kind. I mean, even Jacksonville has. Even Carolina has. They came in 95.
Carolina's hosted one. Jacksonville's hosted one. The Cleveland Browns. The old Cleveland Browns hosted an AFC championship game.
They did.
Figure that out.
They did. They beat the Jets to get there.
Yeah, in that double overtime classic.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, but to me, it's so much bigger than what it's showing now, because Gase should not. Gase is an idiot. Let's face it, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And his system, whatever the heck his system is, nobody knows. I mean, we haven't seen that much since Joe Walton was the offensive coordinator and head coach. I mean, you laugh.
I laugh because you bring up an old name that I happen to remember seeing coaching the Jets, and Joe Walton. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we like to forget that. The only one worse than Walt was Coach Hutton. But you know what? Gase is worse than all, because Gase doesn't ever take any responsibility. And there, you go back to his last 4 games that he lost at Miami. Okay, the last game he won with Miami was that insane flea flicker that he wound up beating the Patriots. The last game he won in Miami. All right, he's only won 1 game since then, and that was against the Cowboys.